Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC News Break. Barbados' premier attraction, Harrison Cave, is unprofitable to the extent that it can't pay salaries and is recording a consistent decline in visitors. This follows a multi-million-dollar refurbishment of the St. Thomas facility more than 4 years ago. This revelation from Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Irene Sandiford Garner, speaking in the Upper House. She says in 2004, only 13% of visitors to the island went to the attraction. In 2010, when it was officially reopened after major work and expansion was completed, it recorded 7% of all the visitors to the island.
This is unacceptable, since the cave redevelopment provided significant revenue earning opportunities. The cave actually had an increase of over 60% in commercial space, meaning that the objective was to make money. So you increase the commercial space by 60%. So that leads you to believe that the revenue in 2010 should have contained receipts from the commercial space in terms of the additional elements such as the food and beverage operations and the additional revenue from the gift shops.
Senator Sandiford Garner revealed that government will be taking steps to correct the situation by looking at leasing the property to a global operator rather than selling it. She said in the meantime, remedial steps are being taken.
The board has outlined terms of reference for management going forward, which includes an evaluation of the marketing strategy which the organization would have had and its current business practices within the marketplace. New strategic initiatives have been identified, sir, and the organizational structure of the firm has also been evaluated. We recognize that our core function at Caves of Barbados is to move traffic through the facility with the end result of a satisfactory level of profitability, and we are on our way to achieving that goal.
Cabinet has recently approved the first ever National Services Sector Development Strategy for Barbados. This from Commerce Minister Donville Innes during the opening of the annual lecture series, one of the activities for National Services Week. He says the strategy can be used to transform the local services sector and position it as a platform on which Barbados' future competitiveness is based.
Whatever methodologies may be employed by others to measure business facilitation and the ease of doing business in Barbados, the reality about it is that we in this island must not settle for anything but the best at all times. And whilst we will certainly work diligently as a government to create the best enabling environment for this to happen, we are counting on each individual, each entity, each services group to play their part in raising the bar of services in Barbados.
The lecture focused on the future of tertiary education and its impact on economic growth. Mr. Innes says Barbados has long celebrated its tertiary education system, that is, as one of the best in the world, adding that it has great potential for export.
I also want the discussion to go into the realm of how we can take this product called our education system, massage it, tweak it, do whatever we have to do, and share it with the rest of the world. You know, so many Barbadians now, as entities say, have partnered up with foreign universities to offer their programs. I want our programs in Barbados to be offered to the world. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what we're doing now, but we have it within ourselves to do it.
A German university professor maintains that Barbados can cut its energy bill by $150 to $200 million annually with the installation of renewable energy. Last November, Olav Homeyer made the same claim and says he has not moved from that position. The professor and chair of energy economics at the University of Flensburg in Germany is currently lecturing at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. He was speaking during a lecture at the Grand Salle Tom Adams Financial Center. It was part of Barbados Renewable Energy Association's celebration of National Energy Week. Mr. Homeyer says it will require investment of about $1.8 billion to install the photovoltaic and wind energy systems.
Going 100% renewables on electricity, on power supply, you can save about 400 million Barbadian dollars in diesel imports every year. Now, some of the equipment you will have to import, therefore it's not a net import saving of $400 million, but if you look at it more closely, it comes out to be still a net import saving of 300 million Barbadian dollars, which translates into 150 US dollars hard currency, which I think the Central Bank of Barbados would be very happy not to have flow that direction.
Meanwhile, Clyde Griffith, the head of BRIA, says the organization will soon launch a public education program to bring Barbadians up to speed on renewable energy and will also certify installers to international standards. He says the local organization is forming alliances with a North American association of like mind.
One with a major Canadian organization, major NGO that has just signed a $35 million arrangement with Emira in Canada, and they are about to sign an MOU with us. We have two others that we can't talk about as yet, but they're coming, and I'm very glad of that. But the one thing I want to leave you with is that BRIA is now looking at finding a way to have a certification program in energy conservation and energy management.
Well, companies in Barbados have been encouraged to be more mindful of the reality of cybercrime and its impacts. Dean Olton, the co-founder of the Caribbean Cybersecurity Center, made the plea during his address on cyber safety for financial institutions at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. He described Barbados and the rest of the region as soft targets for cybercrime and stressed the need for a change in the way things are presently done in that regard.
There needs to be an awareness of what cybercrime is, how it impacts our economy, right? Because this $4 billion in assets that the non-banking sector has needs to be protected. Mr. Graham and Mr. Belgrave before told you more about the magnitude of the assets that we hold in this island, and we need to protect them.
Non-performing loans, or NPLs, are still on the increase in the non-banking sector. This is according to Randy Graham, Chief Executive Officer at the Financial Services Commission, or FSC. He was providing an update on the sector at a one-day seminar for domestic financial institutions in Barbados. Mr. Graham says despite the increase, the NPLs are still lagging behind those in commercial banks.
We're also seeing the NPLs, the non-performing loans, increasing, but they're not stark increases, which is a good thing at this particular stage. The NPL growth is lagging behind the commercial bank growth in NPLs. We don't have causation for that lag at this particular time, but there are various elements that are being suggested for why the NPL growth is lagging behind. We have the bonding system in the credit unions that could be having a material impact. It could be the size of the loans where within the credit union sector, the size of individual loans are not big enough to have for one or two loans to have a material impact on NPLs if they go bad or if they go in the wrong direction.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the Central Bank of Barbados, Anton Belgrave, presented a financial stability report in which he noted that commercial banks continue to struggle to make gains. However, Mr. Belgrave has noticed some signs of stability.
Now, this is a problem here for our commercial banks' profitability. And this has been trending down. It appears to be stabilizing somewhat, but we don't have the latest figures as yet to see what the Q2 numbers hold. But at least the trend itself seems to have stabilized a bit in the last 2 years or so.
It's time for a break now, but we'll have regional and international news when we return. Stay